गुड मॉर्निंग। गुड मॉर्निंग। जैसा आप जानते हैं कि हम लोग ठीक 7:15 बजे रोज स्टोरीज के माध्यम से वोकैबुलरी सीखने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। अभी तक हम लोग कुल 13 चैप्टर्स कर चुके हैं। आई होप इन 13 चैप्टर्स में हमने ग्रेडेड वे में धीरे धीरे आपको कई सारे वर्ड्स को एक्सप्लेन किया है। 13 मीन्स 13 वर्ड्स वी हैव डिस्कस्ड, और हर वर्ड के हम 10 मीनिंग्स एवरी डे एक स्टोरी में देखते हैं। बट देयर आर मेनी मोर वर्ड्स विच आर हिडन इन बिटवीन। जैसे कि आज आप देखेंगे इस चैप्टर में द नेम ऑफ द चैप्टर इज अवॉइडिंग द फैक्ट्री, एंड इन दिस चैप्टर you will have some more words like looking glum. The word glum means looking quiet, sad, unhappy. Means a person is not happy. तो इसी बात को हम आज कंटिन्यू करेंगे एंड देखेंगे how this story records 10 different meanings of the word work, right? So see how it relates. ठीक है, तो यहां पहला वर्ड देखिएगा। वर्ड वर्क वर्ड का पहला मीनिंग क्या होगा? यदि आप किसी व्यक्ति के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, ऑफ अ वर्क, एंड इफ आई से that this doesn't work or this works, so see Tim failed the exam because he hadn't worked. यदि आपने काम नहीं किया, it means you haven't worked means you did not prepare for the exam. Rahul is not working today means he is off, he is on holiday, he is on leave. So if a person hasn't worked, it means he did not work, and here did not work means he did not make any effort. In English language, when somebody works, then we have some other words also. He works hard, and the other is he works hardly. So in the first sentence he works really hard, and in the second sentence he does not work almost. So he works hardly means he does not work, and he works hard means he works very hard. So hard working person is if you are a hard working. And now we have lot many words which relate to hard working. Like one such word is diligent. Diligent means hard working. If you are hard working means you work a lot, you put your best effort there. पर यहां देखिएगा diligent शब्द के भी कई मीनिंग है। It means you do something carefully. Do it diligently means do it carefully. और care and hard को मिला देते हैं, तो हमने पिछली क्लासेस में देखा था we had a word conscious, right? If you do something conscientiously, it means you do that diligently, it means carefully, and you really work hard. So the word relates to you make an effort. If you make an effort, you strive, and if you work very hard, that is slog. In cricket you must have heard this word often, slog overs. Slog overs means when everybody is working very hard. Batsman is trying to score high, It means he would like to hit hard. And the bowler would like to contain the batsman as much as he can do. So batsman is trying to hit hard and the bowler is trying to contain the batsman. So batsman is not able to hit. So here, if a person is working hard, he exerts a lot. जब आप बहुत सारा काम करते हैं तो हम कहते हैं exert. Exert means apply yourself, I mean to the fullest. So मैं कहूँ कि आपको exertion नहीं लेना है. What does it mean? It means आपको बहुत ज्यादा hard work नहीं करना है. So do not exert yourself means do not work so much that you get tired. So ultimately, the word exert, slow, make an effort, they go with work. Work hard or work hardly. You know, there are two kinds of the persons in general when it comes to their willingness to work. Somebody is willing to work and the other person is not willing to work. Who are unwilling to work, they are lazy. And you know, a lazy person is the worst form of a human being. However, they say जितने भी दुनिया में आविष्कार हुए हैं उनमें ज्यादातर लेजी लोगों का कंट्रीब्यूशन. Because a lazy person wants to save his effort. So lazy होना, इन्वेंटर जो लोग हैं जो इन्वेंशन करते हैं वो इन जनरल क्या होते हैं, ऐसा लोग कहते हैं दे आर लेजी. क्योंकि यदि वो लेजी नहीं होगा तो फिर वो इन्वेंट करने के बारे में सोचेगा नहीं. सो इन जनरल लेजी पर्सन्स आर गुड इन्वेंटर्स. सो कुछ यूं भी कह सकते हैं कि लेजी होना अच्छी बात है, वो अच्छे साइंटिस्ट बन सकते हैं, पर साइंटिस्ट भी नहीं तो अच्छे इन्वेंटर जरूर बन सकते हैं. सो इफ यू वर्क वेरी हार्ड, एग्जाम के डेज में यू स्टडी हार्ड, राइट. ऐसे ही आज कोई बहुत घर पे बड़ा सा काम हो, कोई फैमिली फंक्शन हो, then everybody is on toes, and when everybody is on toes then they have to work very hard. So हर किसी के पैर जो हैं वो जमीन पर ही नहीं है, सब अपने टोज पे हैं. इसका मतलब they are on the toes, and when everybody is on the toes it means they are working very hard. So here, if a person like him failed the exam because he hadn't worked, it means he did not study. If you work, what are you doing? I'm working. Students, what is the working for students? Study is work for them. So if a full-time student, if somebody is a full-time student, then he has to study full-time. And full-time means at least 9 to 5. What do you do when you go to an office? You work 9 to 5. So at least who is a full-time student? So after class 9, because in class 9 you are 13 or 14 years, and now it is expected that you will cultivate the habit of working for 8 to 10 hours. 8 to 10 hours means you will study hard, you will play hard, and you will perform hard. But you know, there are a lot of students, specifically during this corona disruption, students are not going to schools and colleges. They are at home. So they are staying relatively, you know, long in their bed. 6 baje utne wale, they are getting up at 8 o'clock. Even during this period, for some time, in fact some weeks, I was also suffering from the syndrome of laziness. I mean, getting up around 8 o'clock. और जब पता किया कि हमारी तो आदतें ही खराब हो गई हैं, then you have to retrain yourself, और वो भी उतना ही टाइम लेगा जितना कि आपने आदत खराब करने में लिया है. So the best way is get up at least 4:30, 4:30, and be up by 5 o'clock. So generally they call it 5 a.m. Robin Sharma wrote one of the bestseller books, 5 a.m. Club. It means the people who start their life at 5 a.m. He conducted a study, and that indicates the successful people are ready to work at 5 o'clock. So most of the successful people, they get up around 4:30 and they are up to work around 5 o'clock. So 5 a.m. life must start. If you do not start your life around 5 o'clock, you are already left behind. So 4:30, get up, 8:30 or 9:30, somewhere in between, go to bed, and be up around 4:30. So we are also starting a 5 a.m. club on this Monday. I have shared a message with students who really want to be successful. They should become the part of that 5 a.m. club. In that club, we will share, the targets. What is the meditation target today? What is the study target today? And apart from your daily routine, you need to invest in your personal development. That is communication skills, language learning, interpersonal skills, conceptual skills, and most interestingly, life skills. So you have to be particular about it. 5 a.m. your life must start. So this Monday, this class will start at 6 a.m. right? 1 hour before that. 6 a.m. is quite early, it seems. But after 15 days, you will cultivate again, you will develop this habit, and it will be wonderful. So because you are already performing 1 more hour. So Greg had just come out of his tutor's office, and Greg looked glum. If you look glum, you look gloomy. So we had this word a couple of days back, gloomy. You are gloomy or you are happy? You are sad or you are happy? If you look glum, means you look unhappy. What happened? It means there was an examination and I failed the examination. So when you fail, you look glum, and when you achieve something, there is a broad smile on your face, and that declares your celebration, inner happiness. So you are happy or you are sad. If you are sad, you look glum. If you are happy, you look in the pink, you look bright. And that brightness declares your happiness. So if a person, again, if you work somewhere, then you have a job. I work for King's Academy. King's Academy is my organization. So what do you do? Well, I'm a teacher and I work for King's Academy. It means you have a job there. What do you do for your living? I earn my living by teaching. So what do you do? Are you self-employed? Yes, I'm self-employed. Or I'm in employment, or you are jobless. So if a person is in employment, he works for some organization, or he or she is self-employed. But there are some persons who are jobless. So Mr. Graham had told him that he would really have to work if he was going to pass the end of term exams. It means he would really have to work, means he would really have to work hard. It means he has to make an effort. If you have to make an effort, you have to make an effort. Sometimes, you know, you have to exert yourself. The other times you have to slog. Slog means put your best effort. So what you are doing? Tim failed the exam because he hadn't worked. So now what to do? To pass the examination, he has to make an effort. Means he has to work hard. So you can see Greg had just come out of his tutor's office looking glum, means looking sad, quiet, unhappy. Mr. Graham, it means his teacher, who is the tutor. Tutor is Mr. Graham. Mr. Graham had told him that he would really have to work if he was going to pass the end of term exams. You know, there is a rule of 5 years and 5 years. To become successful in your life, they have only 5-year rule. Either you work really hard in 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. These are 5 years. If you work hard in 8th class, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, all these 5 years, then you will go to top colleges and your future most likely will be promising because you will have a better campuses, better interaction, high performance individuals working with you. So you are working with young talent. If you do not work somewhere 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th, you will not be able to go to good colleges. In fact, the best of the colleges. Then what happens? In that case, you are already left behind in good education. And you know, good education is the essential part of your life after food, clothes, and shelter. So there are 4 things in life. We need food, we need clothing, and we need shelter. And in addition, we need good education. All these are the essentials. So people who do not understand what is the merit of studying hard in 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th, perhaps they do not understand that they will be left behind. Then even today, to become a good businessman, you need to have strong knowledge, or you must have good roots in technology. After all, the world is being driven by technology. So even if you are going to become a businessman, you need to have good knowledge of artificial intelligence and machine learning. In future, business analytics, data science. These are some of the emerging fields. And then you need to know human psychology. So what is there? Suppose you are going to do MBA, then you need to go there for consumer behavior in marketing. And consumer behavior is partly associated with human psychology, right? So what is the most important fact today? Students should become good performers in maths and languages. If you are good in maths and you are good in language subjects, like you are good in English, you are good in Hindi, and then you must also be interested in some art, because all the great scientists, they have to imagine, and if you can put your imagination on the paper, it means you can develop many more products. So you must know drawing, sketching, painting. So a good scientist or a good scientist is essentially creative, and they are good speakers and they are good artists. So what to do? Learn painting, learn sketching, learn any art form that allows your imagination to be put on the paper. So what's there? How to start your life? And now the students who did not have the opportunity to come across this information that these 5 years are very important, they can start their life after 12th. So that will again take 5 years, first year, second year, final year, then MA, or I mean PG, Masters, previous, and the final. So that is again 3 plus 5. So that is a package of 5 years. Either you work in the first 5 years or you work there in the latter 5 years. But if you work really hard in first 5 years, then there are the chances that you will become successful because you will get admission into good colleges. But if you did not work for the first 5 years, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th, then you will be deprived of good opportunity, good academic opportunity. You will not be able to go to good colleges and interact with great minds. So you will lose an opportunity not working with great minds. Got it? So why it is important to get admission into top colleges? Because you are working with great minds, the great talent, and that helps you go ahead. In fact, if you really want to become successful, the first thing is ensure that you will get the best education available in the world. So if you are working, since your 8th class, then you just work for 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and start working for your college when you are in 11th class, then you will have the great opportunities waiting for you. Maybe they are in US, maybe they are in Germany, maybe they are in France. So you will be able to avail scholarship, and your education will be funded by scholarship. So you will never be a burden to your parents, provided you know how education, the best education is available to the best minds. So be one of the best minds. So Greg had just come out of his tutor's office looking glum. He was looking happy, or he was looking sad, quiet, unhappy? Mr. Graham had told him that he would really have to work if he was going to pass the end of term exams. Although he had not done much studying, Greg was anxious. Anxious means worried to pass the exams so that he could go to college. And Greg is only thinking about going to college. And if he would have worked hard sincerely all 5 years, then he will not be worried about getting into a college. Rather, he would be excited. Which college? So pick the best college, and those colleges which launch your career. Bill Gates is a Harvard dropout. Understand? He's a dropout, but where from? He's Harvard dropout. When we think of Steve Jobs, again the premier colleges. When we think of Tesla chief Musk, again a premier university dropout. So all those people had an opportunity to go to there, and then they realized I am much better than the others, so I should start my business now, because what the university is going to teach me, I will be able to cope with those years on my own. So the best thing is, if you are planning to go to college, in my opinion, if you can gift yourself, then the best gift is at least go to the best college. That's it. So the best gift in your life which you can have, in fact you can gift yourself, that is the best education. And the best education is available for free. Even if you are poor, you will have an opportunity to get the best education, because scholarships are available for the best talents. So we have our Divangat Rashtrapati Kalam Sahab. He was very poor, his poor background, is its legendary poor background, is itself a great example that poverty is never a barrier if you are talented enough. Got it? So you need to know that it works. Interestingly, so he was anxious, he was worried to pass the exam so that he could go to college and get qualification that would enable him to work in graphic design. He was interested in graphic design. Then what to do? Study graphic design from the best college in the world. Got it? Only then you will have the right opportunity. So opportunities exist somewhere on the campuses. Got it? So go to the right campus, opportunities will automatically come to you. So, and going to the best college is not easy. You have to work really hard, and you have to start working from class 8, because you know in 8th, 9th and 10th you will become a good student, and 11th and 12th you can capitalize your skills. So first you have to become a good student, a disciplined student who understands that what is the merit. You know, these days what is wrong with digital or e-education? The first problem is most of the students do not use pen. They are watching videos and they believe they got it. But trust me, if you do not use ink often, your language skills will get severely impacted, and that will, you know, in turn affect your learning skills. So the best thing is you must work, you must practice a lot. I mean, your first love as a student must be using your pen. So always, you know, write something, and that will automatically build your study skills. But when you are doing maths, never use a pen. Always go without ink. Think mentally, solve mentally. That is very, very important. So there are two skills: think without ink and work with ink. So one idea is TWI and the other idea is WWI, because art, craft and language requires a pen or a pencil or any writing instrument. So suppose if you are doing sketching, you need a pencil. If you are working with a brush, you love painting, then you have something. So one idea is think without ink and the other is work with ink. So work with ink or think without ink. So there are two parts of your, you know, preliminary education: think without ink, I mean maths and science. And then there is one more: speak before people. These three things are the perfect package for your study skills. Speak before people, stage. Suppose like I'm standing before a camera, and now just go and talk to people. Never lose an opportunity in a school. Go and at least participate in debates, speeches, extempore. You should always participate wherever you have an opportunity to speak among people. Always go for that. Understand? These three things are the perfect package for science and maths, think without ink. For language and art, work with ink. And for interpersonal skills, speak before people. Understand? These three skills will make you a perfect package for the best college in the world. So see how it goes. Although he had not done math studying, Greg was anxious to pass the exams so that he could go to college and get qualifications that would enable him to work in graphic design. His father wanted him to learn the family textile business and start in the factory. However, Greg hated it. What he wanted, he had it when he had to work the factory machinery. When he had to work factory machinery, it means he had to repair or he had to attend. So if you work with a machine, you control it, you operate it, you use it. I don't know how to work this washing machine. It means I don't know how to operate this washing machine. So work here stands for operate. Got it? So he hated working with that machine, partly because it was noisy. He hated it even more when the machinery stopped working. If a machine stops working, means it stops functioning, it stops going, and it stops running. So if a machine stops running, if a machine stops going, if a machine stops functioning, then it breaks down. It is out of order. So and he had to try to repair it. Last time a part had come loose. If a part comes loose, it means वो ढीला हो गया. If a part comes loose, it becomes loose. Then you have to tighten it. So it came loose, and he had been unable to work it back into position. It came loose. Now you have to tighten it, and he was not able to work it back into position. If you are not able to work it back into its position, it means you are not able to put it in the right place. So work the screw back into place. What does it mean? Maneuver it. Maneuver is move. Maneuver is move. These days, you have the cars making a claim that this car does not require a big space to move. So parking is easy. They say maneuverability is very much easy. So maneuverability means move. You can move here. So you do not require a big space to park this car or to move it back. So just to give it a parking, it does not require a lot of parking space. It means it has better maneuverability. It can move in a small space, that is better maneuverability. So if it maneuvers, it moves. If you work back into its position, means you put it back into position. It means you maneuver it. You have a screwdriver and you are just trying to put the screw back into position. He knew his father's plan was that he would work his way up through the ranks of firm. If you work your if you work your way through the ranks of the firm, it means you will start from the ranks, the lower rank. So suppose this is your career, this is the lowest position, and this is the highest position. And in a ladder, this is known as rung, one rung. So suppose this is your career ladder. ये आपके करियर की सीढ़ी है. इस सीढ़ी में आप निचले वाले स्टेप से शुरू करोगे. This is the lowest rung and this is the highest rung. If you work your way up through the ranks, if you work up through the ranks, तो आप यहाँ थे. Now the high rank, and high rank. Got it? If you work your way up through the ranks, means you are not made the chief executive officer of the company the day one. You have to start as a worker, as an executive, then you are promoted as a manager, senior manager, then vice president, and then you become president or the chairman of the organization. And this is the right approach, then you learn how this is done. Got it? So the best way to join the family business is, आपको पता है जितने भी अग्रवाल फैमिली के लोग होते हैं, they always take their kids when they are 8 or 9 or 10 years old. बच्चों को 1 से 2 घंटा दुकान जाना जरूरी होता है. They have to spend 2 hours. ऐसे ही जो सोनी या सुनार होते हैं, जो गोल्ड स्मिथ्स और सिल्वर स्मिथ्स होते हैं, उनके भी बच्चों को 2 घंटे दुकान पर जाना जरूरी होता है. So that धीरे धीरे बिना किसी खास ट्रेनिंग के they go and they learn the craft. तो उन्हें पता ही नहीं चलता है कि कब वो अच्छे सुनार हो गए, उन्हें पता ही नहीं चलता है कि कब वो अच्छे बिजनेसमैन हो गए. That is what we call informal education. But you know, काम कैसे करते हैं वो छोटे छोटे काम, अरे बच्चे ये कर दे, ये कर दे, वो कर दे, all through. So they work his way up through the ranks of the firm. But Greg was determined that this plan would not work. If this plan would not work, means it will not become successful. It will not work means if it will not work, the plan will not work, means it will not become successful. It will not make any progress. So it will not succeed. It will not be successful. Although Jack's father owns the farm, Jack had to work his way up from the bottom. From this bottom, it means he had to make his way up from the bottom. He has to prove himself and then go up the career ladder. And this is the right approach. What happened when Infosys chairman Nayan Murthy did not offer his son a direct job. Rather, he also had to pass Infosys recruitment test. And that is what we call the ethics of work, right? So, you know, if you own such a big company, then that is not your personal property. That belongs to your investors. And how can you allow your investors' money to go in the hands of your child? I mean, in risky hands of your child. That's there. So that is very important. So this plan would not work, means it will not become successful. Somehow he simply had to work things so that he could go to college. He had to do things, means he had to manage them. He had to fix. He had to arrange, handle. Maneuver is again move. Work things so that he could go to college. It went without saying, कहने की जरूरत नहीं थी, that he had to study hard. But something more was required. Every time he mentioned not going into the factory, his father's face started working with rays. If your face start working with rays, it means it gets twisted, it twitches, आपके चेहरे पर रेखाएं पड़ जाती हैं. रोज नहीं जाता, यहीं बैठा रहता है, मतलब your face, you know, speaks your mind. Your face speaks your emotion. So father was angry. After a while he thought that he had the answer, because his younger sister Ellie was good at charming her father into doing what she asked. So if you are good at charming your father into doing what she asked, जो भी पूछेंगे पापा वही कर देते हैं. And he would ask her to work some of her magic on his behalf. सिस्टर को कहेगा कि तुम पापा से बोलो ताकि मेरा भी काम हो जाए. You ask on my behalf. It means you work your magic, you use your magic, you apply your magic, or you employ your magic. That's there. Got it? So let's repeat it, and it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. This passage, in my recommendation, this is the best passage when it comes to business communication. You should cultivate all these expressions in your day-to-day speech. Make it a practice that you are able to use these uses of work in your speech also. This is quite natural. So Greg had just come out of his tutor's office looking glum. Mr. Graham had told him that he would really have to study hard, work if he was going to pass the end of term exams. Although he had not done much studying, Greg was anxious to pass the exam so that he could go to college and get qualifications that would enable him to work in graphic design. It means to have a job in graphic design. His father wanted him to learn the family textile business and start in the factory. But Greg hated it when he had to work the factory. Means he had to work the factory machinery. Means if you work with the machine means you operate the machine. So he had to work the factory machinery means he had to operate the factory machinery. Partly because it was so noisy, he hated it. Even more when the machinery stopped working and he had to try to repair it. Last time a part had come loose and he had been unable to work back into position. He knew his father's plan was that he would work his way up through the ranks of the firm, but Greg was determined that this plan would not work. Somehow he simply had to work things so that he could go to college. It went without saying that he had to study hard, but something more was required. Every time he mentioned not going into the factory, his father's face started working with rage. After a while, he thought that he had the answer because his younger sister Ellie was good at charming her father into doing what she asked. He would ask her to work some of her magic on his behalf. One of the students asked me yesterday, sir, आप केवल पढ़ाते हो 1 घंटा, आप ना कोई जोक सुनाते हो, ना कोई स्टोरी, ना कोई मोटिवेट करते हो। देखो, पढ़ाई के वक्त केवल पढ़ाई की बात है। मोटिवेशन जो है वो सेल्फ ही काम आएगा। कितने दिनों तक उधार का मोटिवेशन चलेगा? यदि आप सेल्फ मोटिवेटेड और डिसिप्लिन नहीं है तो उधार का मोटिवेशन ज्यादा दिन नहीं चलेगा। आपको खुद ही मोटिवेटेड रहना पड़ेगा। आपका खुद का इंटरेस्ट होना चाहिए। आपका यदि इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, आप सेल्फ मोटिवेटेड नहीं है, तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई बाहर का मोटिवेशन लंबे समय तक सस्टेन कर पाएगा या स्टे कर पाएगा। You have to be self motivated. You must be, working. आपको पता होना चाहिए मुझे मेरी जिंदगी में क्या करना है। अदरवाइज बाकी सारी बातें कहने की हैं। मैं सिर्फ इतना कहूंगा, start your life before 5 o'clock. That's it. Because if you just developed one habit कि आप 4:30 बजे उठते हैं और 5 बजे आपकी जिंदगी शुरू हो जाती है, दैट इज द बेस्ट गिफ्ट। और आपने एक बार ऐसा करना शुरू कर दिया, इसका सीधा मतलब हुआ आप जिंदगी से आगे हैं। आपके पास वक्त ही वक्त होगा सुबह से लेके शाम तक। आप कभी भी स्ट्रगल नहीं करेंगे कि मैं लेट हो गया, बिकॉज यू हैव द टाइम, यू कैन प्लान योर डे। और आपके पास सुबह 5 बजे से लेकर के आपके पास रात को 9 बजे तक का वक्त है। सुबह 5 से 9 बजे तक 16 घंटे होते हैं। उसमें आप कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, राइट? दैट्स रियली अ बिग टाइम। आप पढ़ सकते हैं, खाना खा सकते हैं, रेस्ट कर सकते हैं, आप सारे काम कर सकते हैं। 10 घंटे पढ़ने के बावजूद आपके पास 6 घंटे बचते हैं। बट इफ यू स्टार्ट लेट, क्योंकि यदि आप 8:30 या 9 बजे से लेकर के 4 बजे वाली आदत नहीं डालेंगे ना, 4 साढ़े 4 वाली, 9 से 4 मतलब आपके पास 7 घंटे सोने को है। 7 घंटा बहुत होता है सोने के लिए, पर मैं कहता हूँ 9 बजे सोइए, 4:30 उठिए, यू हैव 7.5 आवर्स। कोई कमी नहीं है। आप 1.5 घंटा एक्सरसाइज भी कर सकते हैं, उसके बाद भी शुरू करेंगे तो यू हैव स्टिल 4:30 बजे उठे, 5 बजे तैयार हुए, 6:30 बजे भी फ्री हो गई। अब 6:30 से भी पढ़ना शुरू करेंगे तो पहली सिटिंग में आपके पास 5 घंटे निकल जाने हैं 11:30 बजे तक। दैट इज द ओनली वे आउट, और कोई तरीका नहीं है। इसलिए बड़े बुजुर्ग कहते थे अर्ली टू राइज, अर्ली टू बेड, अर्ली टू राइज मेक्स ए मैन healthy, wealthy and wise. Got it? So let's move to the next. That is tea in the garden. Again boring. These classes are not boring. These classes are rich with content. Don't say it is boring. Start, substituting boring with this word, rich in content. So these classes are rich in content. If you work your way through these 25 chapters, your basic English will improve dramatically. And interestingly, natural English, that's there. So here we have tea in the garden, and the word of the story is fine. The word of the story, the predominant word of the story is fine. Got it? So say fine. If the weather is fine, it means you love it. It's beautiful. It is awesome. You say, how is the weather today? It is fine. Means in Europe, it is dry. It is not windy. It is not stormy. It is bright because it's very cold there. So they say, how is the weather? It is not, it is cloudy or it is sunny. It is sunny, it is not cloudy. Cloudy means बादल छाए हुए हैं, और sunny means अच्छी खासी धूप खिली हुई है। जब यूरोप में धूप खिली होती है तो टेम्परेचर 16-17 डिग्री होता है, means it's not hot there. और हमारे यहाँ यदि धूप खिली हो जून वाली, it is 48 degree, it is 49. So it is sunny. It is fine weather in Europe, but when you say here in India, it is sunny. No, it is scorching, right? आग बरस रही है. It is an inferno. So sunny means it is pleasant. जैसे सर्दियों में और सर्दियों में अच्छी धूप खिली हो, वो जो गुनगुनी सी धूप खिलती है, that is sunny. पर अभी जो गर्मियों में जून में जो अभी गर्मी पड़ रही है, that is scorching heat. Understand? वो जला के जो बोलते हैं ना पूरी स्किन क्या हो गई है, it just scorched, यानी जला दिया है. So of weather, as the weather was fine, we had a picnic. It is sunny. Sunny is pleasant होगा, वो कभी भी harsh नहीं होगा. It is dry, it is fair. Zan's parents said it was fine if Sue stayed overnight. It was acceptable, right? मान लीजिए किसी का दोस्त आया, वो बोले कि पापा आज मैं और मेरा दोस्त घर पे ही रुक जाते, तो नॉर्मली दोस्तों का घर पे जब आप बहुत छोटे हो तो रुकना एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है, जब आप कॉलेजेस के बाद हो तभी एक्सेप्टेबल होता है. So Zan's parents said it was fine if Sue stayed overnight. It means it was acceptable. All right. Of China bonds, Julie has very fine bonds. Fine bonds मतलब चाइना बोन के बने हुए बर्तन, यानी क्रॉकरी. तो यदि मैं कहूँ जूली हैज वेरी फाइन bonds, इसका मतलब जूली के पास चाइना बोन के अच्छे बर्तन हैं. अच्छे बर्तन है मतलब बेस्ट क्वालिटी के, बढ़िया वाले, डेलिकेट. सो दे आर डेलिकेट. फ्रेजाइल मतलब जल्दी टूट सकते हैं, बिखर सकते हैं. फ्रेल मीन्स वीक. If cloth is fine means it is very thin. तो आप देखते हैं जो चुन्नी होती है वो कैसी होती है लड़कियों की, that is fine cloth. कैसा क्लॉथ होता है? फाइन क्लॉथ, बहुत पतला होता है. शिफॉन इज फाइन. कभी कभी इतना फाइन होता है कि यू कैन सी थ्रू, घूंघट की आड़ में और आपका चेहरा दिख रहा हो, घूंघट की आड़ में भी आपका चेहरा दिख रहा हो, तो जो क्लोथ है वो कैसा है? दैट इज फाइन, दैट इज सी थ्रू. उसको टेक्निकली हम कहते हैं डायफेनस. तो यदि कोई ऐसा क्लोथ हो जो फाइन हो, इतना पतला हो कि आप इधर से उधर देख पाते हैं, या बहुत पतला. Soft cloth, the skirts were made of a very fine material. It means lightweight, that is thin material. Of cloths, they were wearing fine clothes means stylish, smart, or beautiful means elegant. कैसे, how is your dress? That's fine dress. Difference कैसा, there is a fine difference, मतलब बहुत कम अंतर है, बहुत थोड़ा सा अंतर है. The difference is fine means there is slight margin. It means there is subtle difference. बड़ा नहीं है, that's not a wide gap. बहुत छोटा सा, that is subtle difference, that is fine difference. The margin is thin. If you have written some fine novels, if the novels are fine, शानदार, excellent, splendid, first rate, outstanding and the first class. यदि माइंड और ब्रेन कैसा हो, फाइन हो, मतलब यू आर क्लेवर, यू आर इंटेलिजेंट, और आप कैसे हैं, मतलब आपका ब्रेन कैसा है, मतलब यू आर क्लेवर, यू आर इंटेलिजेंट, यू आर शार्प, यू आर कीन. गॉट इट? इफ अ पर्सन और एनिमल इज, they made a fine couple, यदि दो लोग अच्छा कपल है, they made a fine couple means they are a lovely couple, they are pretty, they are good looking, they are handsome, he is handsome and the lady is pretty. So then we have, if it's a fine occasion, the children had a fine time. If the time is fine means that it's enjoyable, मजा आ गया, it was a fine day. Got it? So see, the word fine, fine यदि weather हो तो मजेदार मौसम है, मतलब enjoyable, मजा आ गया. यदि मैं कहूँ the matter is fine, it's okay, this issue is all right, it is acceptable, it's okay, it's fine means it's acceptable. If the china bone के बने हुए बर्तन जो हैं वो कैसे हो, तो the fine bones, it means they are delicate, वो high quality के हैं. Fine novels, he has written fine novels, excellent, outstanding, fine है. यदि cloth है तो वो कैसा है, fine हो तो कैसा होगा, thin होगा. यदि dress यदि fine होगी तो कैसी होगी, elegant and stylish होगा. यदि difference fine होगा तो कैसा होगा, subtle और thin होगा. यदि novels fine होंगे तो कैसा होंगे, first rate. और यदि mind और brain फाइन होगा तो कैसा होगा, क्लेवर एंड इंटेलिजेंट. और यदि मैं यूं कहूं कि ब्राइड एंड ग्रूम कैसे हैं, दे मेड अ फाइन कपल मींस दे मेड अ लवली कपल. और यदि अकेजन यदि फाइन है तो इट वाज एंजॉयबल एंड अम्यूजिंग. जरा स्टोरी लाइन देखते हैं. हाउ इज द स्टोरी? टी इन द गार्डन, इसका मतलब एक टी पार्टी है और गार्डन में है. अब कैसी टी पार्टी है, इट वॉज अ वेरी फाइन डे, राइट. एंड द शॉर्ट फैमिली, उनका सरनेम है, शॉर्ट जो है वो क्या है, सॉरी, द शॉर्ट फैमिली हैड डिसाइडेड क्या, टू टेक टी, कहाँ, इन द गार्डन. इट हैड बीन मिसेज शॉर्ट्स आइडिया, मिसेज शॉर्ट का आइडिया था, बट द रेस्ट ऑफ द फैमिली, जो बाकी का परिवार था वो भी क्या था, द रेस्ट ऑफ द फैमिली सेड दैट इट वाज फाइन विद देम, ये हमारे लिए ठीक था. सिंस दे हैड इनवाइटेड द पॉलक को इनवाइट किया था उन्हें. पॉलक फैमिली, जैसे हम कहते हैं ना शर्मा फैमिली, माथुर फैमिली, वैसे ही अंग्रेजों के यहाँ शॉर्ट फैमिली, Pollock family, right? Over, Mrs. Short had decided to use her fine china. Fine china मतलब क्रॉकरी कैसी होगी, फाइन चाइना यानी कप, प्लेट, सॉसर, वो सब कैसे होंगे, फाइन बोन वाले होंगे. Because it was a hot day and Mrs. Short was wearing a dress of a very fine material so that she would keep as cool as possible, ताकि ज्यादा गर्मी ना लगे और वो अच्छी भी दिखे. Usually She, so see, usually she wore shorts and a casual top in such weather, but Mr. and Mrs. Pollock always seemed to wear rather fine clothes. मतलब stylish or elegant clothes. Sometimes their clothes seem too formal for the occasion. कई बार ऐसा लगता था ऐसे occasion पर इतने fine clothes कैसे पहन रहे हैं? That was there, as there is often a fine distinction. Fine distinction मतलब बहुत छोटा अंतर है. There is a thin or subtle difference. किस किस के बीच में subtle difference है? There is a fine distinction between being smartly dressed and being overdressed. The Pollocks were enjoyable company. Mrs. Pollock was very artistic, having painted many very fine watercolors. Fine मतलब outstanding watercolors. बहुत अच्छी painting की है उन्होंने. While Mr. Pollock had an exceptionally fine mind, he was very clever and could talk knowledgeably about many subjects. They had 3 children: Jane, who was a fine young woman studying art at the local college, and 2 much younger ones, Tom and Emma. The latter of the 2, that is Emma, being roughly the same ages as Martin and Grace Short. They were having a fine time, running up and down the garden with them, playing rather noisy games. The sun shone, the food was delicious, and everyone enjoyed themselves. So they had a wonderful tea party. Which party? Tea in the garden. So they had a wonderful party. So we have done 15 stories so far. Next week we will do 10 stories and this book will be over. That is 2 stories a day, and in the next week we will be able to complete all 25. Then next to the next week we will do idioms and prepositions in story forms, and that will be something really interesting, right? And you know, the class on Monday is at 6 o'clock, right? So everybody get ready, right? The class is at 6 o'clock in the morning. That is pretty early, I understand, but after all you have to develop the right habit. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. So thank you for being with us. I hope it has been a wonderful journey so far, and we hope the same will continue the next week. Thank you. Keep on learning.